everyone. It is a beautiful evening here at West Nile TV, and thanks everyone who has caught up with this show. And this is the Real Talk Show that runs to you every Saturday from the hour of 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we are always here for you on channel 477 on Star Times. And people who have a Zom TV, you can catch us on channel 369. And those who have Zuku satellite, we are on the channel 0073. And then the rest of us, we can get ours in the social media channels. That is the YouTube, West Nile TV official YouTube channel. But today, we will be talking about something which has risen with a lot of confusion, other side, excitement in the other side, and so on. As you can see, I'm not alone at the studio. And he will introduce himself, but just the tip of the iceberg. We are going to talk about the new Ugandan curriculum. Results just came out and there was a lot of noise all over social media, all over schools and all that. So today we are here to clear the air. My name is Aita Sophie, and let's give our guest a chance to introduce himself, and then we go forward. You're welcome to West Nile TV.
Thank you, Sophie, and I'm excited that you were once my student in O-level. My name is Ronald Biliadrani. I normally introduce myself as Teacher Ronald because that was how I was referred to by my students at Ushindi Secondary School. I work with the Arua City in the Education Department as Senior Education Officer, Head of Department, IB Division, but also I continue teaching as part-time at Uganda Christian University in the Department of Education, and that's what I love doing most. Wow. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And talking about this new curriculum, from the old curriculum, there was a lot of mess actually transiting to this new curriculum. And even up to now, some people are still failing to understand what this new curriculum brings forth. So what should somebody be expecting when they talk about the new curriculum?
Yeah, thank you very much. Members, you will agree with me that the curriculum that we implemented up to 2023 was the curriculum we inherited from our colonialists.
That's true.
And which was very theoretical, Senior 1 up to Senior 4. And most of our learners were learning theory, matches were doing practicals in agriculture, in chemistry, in physics. It would just end in laboratory, and they were not putting many of these things to practice. I want to thank the government of the Republic of Uganda and the Ministry of Education and Sports with its agencies, the National Curriculum Development Center, who kept on talking about reforming our curriculum. This curriculum reform started with primary education. I'm sure you're aware that we're having in primary what we call thematic curriculum, which is running from P1 up to P3. And when we look at the thematic curriculum, it is similar to what O-level has just completed. It is teaching according to themes. And there is a lot of competences in the thematic curriculum. But also in this P4, P5, P6, 7, we have this general curriculum, which now enables the learner to sit the PLE, and it used to be mostly just examination oriented. And at the O-level, you'll find somebody is taking, I don't know how many subjects in Senior 1. By the time you're going to reduce the content, it is in Senior 4, Senior 3 rather. But it used to be a lot of theoretical. So this new curriculum, which is called National Lower Secondary Curriculum, was a reform that came after the government had actually proposed to reduce the number of subjects in lower secondary to 8. Remember, we were supposed to have 8 learning areas at first, but that curriculum was shelved in 2017. It was not implemented. So this new curriculum was now adopted, whose first pioneers of Senior 4 sat in 2024, which result just was released this February. This lower secondary curriculum is called competence-based curriculum. Competence-based curriculum from the word competence, is that curriculum which looks at one, nurturing the competences of the learners,
Okay.
developing these competences by the learners, creating knowledge by the learners, and it is a practical curriculum whereby a learner takes charge of his or her own learning, and the teacher's role comes as a facilitator in arranging the learning situation, in arranging the facilities, helping the learner to reach out. So this lower secondary curriculum came at a time when we were in COVID. I remember when this curriculum was introduced. And when the curriculum was introduced, some training was given to the teachers in order to prepare them to conduct this curriculum. And the training took place for us in West Nile, mostly in schools like Mvara Secondary School, St. Joseph's College, Ombachi, St. Mary's, Edofe. That time I was working in the Rural District as the senior education officer. I chanced to attend part of the curriculum training of the teachers, and it was from there that I started understanding that the government was coming up with something that is going to make our learners to be lifelong learners for the rest of their lives. This curriculum prepares a learner right from senior one. If a learner takes, for example, a course in ICT in first term in senior one, that package which the child studies will remain part of his life, and he can actually get a certificate from it. Unlike the former curriculum whereby you must finish a whole senior 4, then you're going to get your UCE certificate. But every effort that a child makes is certified, all the competences are accumulated, and this gives a child some kind of progression, even if the child maybe drops out of school, the language which we don't want to. Unfortunately, if a child will not proceed with these studies, the child gets out, the child can go and do some ICT, the child can go and even rare animals, rare chicken, because he is practically learning hands-on.
Okay, not to interrupt you, but with all these you have mentioned, this new curriculum actually, it means that nobody fails in it. And so long as you don't, even if you don't get a very good result, you still have the opportunity to move forward.
Very, very, very perfect. Even if you don't complete senior 4, to get this result, which is as a result of feasting for the examination, you cannot go to the community and they become, jobless. You can create your own job and survive. And
when the senior 4 results came out, the results were termed, I think, result 1, result 2, something like that, and others were A, B, C, D, and Can you explain that more for us?
Yeah, actually, when the results were released, radio stations and even you people are trying to invite us to come and explain what those results meant. Because I can remember the first result I saw was for Arua Public SS. Out of 200, around 56, 7 learners, almost everybody passed.
Yes, they say everybody passed.
There were around 2 people in result 2, and I think those who didn't sit were like 5.
All schools, actually, most of the schools,
most of the
everyone
schools,
was
everyone was result 1.
Yes.
So it caused a lot of confusion at first. Personally, as an educationist, I got a little bit confused, because now, what does the result 1 mean? The UNEB had not yet given us the breakdown. The result was released. We were all expectant of that result. So now, when schools now started analyzing their school-specific results based on the learner performance, now we started understanding what this result 1 meant. And now what happens with result 1, result 2, the actual 2. Result 1 means that any child who gets between A and D, that person qualifies to get a certificate of UCE. That's the meaning of result 1. But in the result 1, you'll find a lot of variations. The result 1 comprises of the highest performance, which is called exceptional. That is A. And A is a range from 80 to 100. In our former curriculum, we will say that is distinction 1 and distinction 2. So a child who obtained 80% to 100 obtained either A or B. And so that means that the child has exceptionally performed extremely well. He has exhibited high level of competence with some practical skills that he can put to use. Get a point?
Yeah.
And then there was B.
Yes.
Result B is outstanding. It is just like in A-level. You know, this O-level is now matching what we used to have in A-level.
In A-level, yeah.
A-level, you have A, you have B, you have C, you have D,
Yes.
up to F.
Yes.
But this one of O-level stops with E.
Yeah.
It doesn't reach what?
F.
So when you get A, it is actually 6 points. When you get B, it's 5 points. When you get C, it's 4 points. It goes down like that.
Yes.
And so A is exceptional, as I said, it's D1 and D2. B is outstanding. That is credit 3 and credit 4 in our old curriculum. And then C is satisfactory. You know, satisfactory can be just good, quite good. That is credit 5 and credit 6. So a child who got D, in this recently released UCE should have actually obtained pass 7 and pass 8, and that's actually where D lies. You know, now it actually covers that kind of pass 7 and pass 8 and so on in our papers. So I think when the result now all came, children who got from distinction 1 up to pass 7, pass 8 rather,
result 1.
all obtained result 1, which means they got certificates.
So meaning there is really, no difference, like no clear difference to somebody who hasn't gotten this person's result, that this particular person, both of these people, they are in result 1, but one is in distinction and then the other is in pass.
Yeah, so so result 2 means that the person failed. It's actually F9. And a student whose result was in result 2 automatically does not get certificate, and so does not even qualify to proceed to A-level. This therefore means that the person has to either repeat, or if the person is now over age like us, the person can now branch to other vocational, because a lot of competences have been enhanced in them when they were from senior 1 up to senior 4.
So do you see advantages of this new curriculum compared to the old curriculum?
Very, very much. The new curriculum, as I told you, the old curriculum prepared white-collar jobs. People who are looking for a job like what we're doing now.
But now this one caters for
This
everyone.
one prepares you to go and create your own employment. You can go and rear chicken. You can go and rear, for the sake of those who don't want to hear the name, for us in agriculture, poultry. You can go and rear piggery. You can go and dig. You can actually do crop husbandry and what? Crop production and animal husbandry. You can do carpentry and joinery. By the way, I want to assure you that I went to one of the secondary schools here in Ruiz City. I have a child who is in one of the secondary schools. I'm not going to mention the name. I just went to visit. So when I went to the head teacher's office, they told me to go and see what our children were doing. I entered the workshop. You know what we call workshop in town here? If you want to maybe you're building, you want door, you want windows. Do you know that I found senior 4? Actually, senior 3, they were not in senior 4. They were making windows, these metallic window frames. They were making furniture. I found some had made tables for themselves. This is a senior 1, senior 2, senior 3 who were doing technology and drawing. Can you now imagine? This is what we used to learn after somebody has completed senior 4. Then you join a technical institute like the game, or you go to Metal or these others in order to become that kind of professional. But this curriculum prepares a learner from the first day of joining up to the senior 4 to be lifelong learning and to be very practical in his life. And so a big difference between the old curriculum and the new one.
Actually, that has really helped a lot, because in the previous, as you said, it prepares people for the white-collar jobs, and whenever a child fails from school, it feels like the world has ended for them, and they're called these casual laborers. So you said that this has very big advantage, but does it have disadvantages compared to the old curriculum that we had? Because I also had a lot of teachers complaining, a lot of students complaining, and the transition was very difficult and tricky and all that.
Yeah, I just want to let the listener out there, the viewer know that when something is introduced newly,
Okay.
it comes with a lot of challenges. And also, society naturally resists change. When this new curriculum was introduced, it was brought at a time when we were going through difficulties. The COVID-19, we had gone into lockdown, and also many schools had actually closed down, especially private schools. They lost a lot of business. But this new curriculum came with a lot of demand. That to me was not a problem. It posed a big challenge.
Okay.
Now, since it is hands-on, it is practical, it is skill-based, now it required that schools should be equipped, laboratories should be equipped, schools should actually have farmlands. They should have everything that will make a child to go and learn, because it is like a vocational institute.
Okay.
You see? Now, it found when many of our schools were still with that old mentality, you just find a one classroom block that has desks and chalkboards, a few textbooks here and there. There are no farmlands. Even most of our schools actually don't have what we call laboratories, which are science laboratories. But they have something similar to where you can have chemicals found and so on. And now the challenge, the demand is that it is so demanding on the side of the teacher, because the teacher has to prepare a learner-centered approach. The teacher has to, for example, take children to demonstrations and so on and so forth. So this requires the teacher, first of all, to have the competence himself.
Yes.
Okay? To deliver that competence-based curriculum. But the training did not capture all the secondary school teachers. I can remember teachers were just selected.
Okay.
Not all the teachers were called on. They were selected to come and attend this training and to go and implement, or to cascade
to the rest of the teachers of the school. Yeah.
But of course, the training was not so massive, and it left some gaps. Two, even after the first trainings were done, the NCDs kept on coming to continue, building the capacity of the teachers.
Okay.
But as I told you, curriculum reform caused a lot of resistance. The teachers kept on, even when new curriculum was there, they kept on teaching the old curriculum in many schools.
Yeah, that's true.
And NCDs and the UNEB also kept on, changing things here. Assessment 1, they said we're going to assess like this, it was dropped. They brought another one. That's why even these senior folks who sat, they had a lot of pressure of compiling what they call the 20%, which they call it what? Continuous assessment, which was now to be submitted to UNEB ahead of time.
Okay.
And actually, the students sat for only 80%.
Wow.
20% were the cumulative projects that these students were able to do from senior 1 up to senior 4.
Wow.
So now school now had to compile these things. Now the teachers did not have the capacity, not all of them, some of them didn't have the capacity, even what is it that they should compile to send to UNEB. You find that at the end of the day, some would just go and manufacture marks and send them.
Which are not actually
which was
there.
not acceptable. And so the challenge of how do we get this kind of competences assessed, how do you compile them, how do you really record every child with the large number of classes of these learners, sometimes with the infrastructure which is not adequate enough, okay, with also the teaching learning materials which were not available to enable this, it posed a big challenge. But at the end of it all, I saw most of our learners pass, and they were grateful.
Yeah. Actually, most of the schools, it was okay. The result was good.
It was okay. Much as now, variations actually kept coming. Our head teachers went for admission for senior 5. Actually, some of them were coming back yesterday, and I chanced to watch a clip when the deputy head teacher of Budo SS was interviewed, and he was asked what happened, because over 2,000 students applied to join Budo SS, but not Budo SS, but King's College Budo.
Okay.
But he said they had to pick only 150. They sold most of those who had the minimum requirements, but also there were those they could not pick. So what did he say? He said they only focused on those who scored A. A will only give a learner advantage to do maybe science-based courses, because our country is now tilting towards
Science.
Science, STEM, for economic transformation. So those who get C, D, and so on may not have chance to offer science-based courses. So that is what we
So with all this, how can the students, the teachers, and the parents support each other to help these students actually succeed in this particular year that has just started? We are just few weeks into first term yet.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we just saw the first fruits of lower secondary curriculum of UCE, and we realized that it is possible to pass, okay, using this lower secondary curriculum. My school, I come from a village called Aleba.
Okay.
So there is a secondary school. I chanced to be part of the founding member in 2006. And when they start this year, all our learners got result 1. So then I said, as education officer in AU, wow, if children can pass from St. Peter's Secondary School, Aleba, all, I think there's even no need for me now to take my child across River Nile. Because now, every school is a good school. So what schools and parents can do to ensure that performance for this year's Senior 4 and the consequent Senior 4s will be better are: 1, you should now know that it's not only school fees that you're going to pay. It is not business as usual that teachers have the textbooks with which they will teach these children. So these learners have different areas that they're going to choose. Some will want to do agriculture, others want to do entrepreneurship, some want to do technology and drawing, others want to do ICT, and so on and so forth. So now it is like you're sending this child to a college. So if it is an institute of agriculture, you must send this child with a gumboot, you must send this child with maybe a hoe, if it is still required. You send this child with the resources, that the tools that the child needs in order to succeed. The same is with somebody who wants technology and drawing. You must buy these jargon boots, buy the helmet, protective gear. So you equip this child with what is required for this child to go and develop his capacity. The teacher will just support, but the parent's role is now, after paying school fees, if I want my child to become a doctor, what are the things that a doctor needs to train from Senior 1? Okay. You understand? Procurement of the textbook is 1. Then in the other requirements, that the practical skills books that we need, apart from chemicals, because we cannot expose our children to chemicals. Okay. But these other subjects like agriculture, you know that this guy is going to do practicals, equip him with gumboots, equip him with agriculture book, equip him with some of those necessary tools that he requires in order to succeed. The same applies to all other subjects that the schools will offer. I'm sure the schools will now also help the parents in the admission, that now the courses or the subjects we're offering are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So parents, as we're admitting, these are the requirements. The requirements will change. Remember the requirements of Ushindi. Used not to be, we used to ask for the Bible, we used to ask for a bed seat, a mattress. Now, schools are now going to ask for, if your child is going to take this, come with this, come with this, come with this, after they have already decided. Get the point? Yep. So the school will now generate the list of the requisitions. Now the parents have to procure. Then the government will also restock the libraries and also equip the laboratories and also farmlands if they are there, so that the learners can come and learn from here. Wow. So it's now not only the parents and the schools, but the government must invest heavily in the education system for this lower secondary curriculum to succeed. If we really want our children to pass with the S, it is now everyone's responsibility. It's no longer, I can go and even read and revise. You go and hide in a corner, you put your leg in a cold water.
So that you don't sleep.
It's no longer there. Because projects, remember, there's result 1. Then at the other side, it is project. Project was rated either A, B, also the same. So whoever had result 1 with a number of A's and gets any project, you are in an exceptional grade. You get the point? So for the child to get very good in project, this therefore means that the child must not also absent herself from school. Yes. Because after every lesson, there is what a teacher gives, what is called activity of integration.
Okay.
So it is from the activity of integration that now the 20% continuously is added and is submitted to UNEP. And then you have to come up with a project. Maybe you're designing an aeroplane, you have to accomplish that, you come and exhibit, then it is assessed, your marks is given. So in the process of developing this, it's like a project. Get a point?
Yeah.
You are developing a lot of skills and competences and knowledge to go and work as an engineer and so on and so forth. So that is it.
Now, I want to get to personally to you because one, you're a parent, and then you are also a teacher, and also you work with these teachers. Now, with the way you are talking, I'm thinking about something which is called self-care and management, because a parent may actually think, is this not going to be expensive compared to the old curriculum and all that? So what are the strategies that these parents and even the teachers can use to manage this stress and anxiety that comes with the new curriculum and all its requirements?
Number one is a teacher capacity. The teacher must make sure that he or she utilizes any capacity building opportunities that's available either by NCDC, even if the opportunities which are, we refer to them as school-based teacher professional development. So the schools must make sure that there is continuous CPD organized for teachers. That will help them to continue to, this curriculum will continue to understand. It's like marriage.
Wow.
You know, you may not be married for me, I'm in marriage. You will
You
not
cannot
understand your
it all in
partner
one day.
100%, even up to death.
Wow.
You will continue to discover new things, new likes and dislikes, and that's the same with this new curriculum. So as we advance with this curriculum, many more new things are going to come, and so the teacher has to be constantly learning. Actually, he becomes a learner himself. Yeah?
Yeah.
A lifelong learner. So each time he or she goes to class or leads the students to do a project and they find there is some inability somewhere, come back and go and learn.
Yeah.
This learning can be from a colleague. You know, this is now when we call mentorship sessions. At school level, we have teachers of different levels of proficiency or of expertise. So the one who is more of an expert than you becomes your mentor, even if the teacher is younger than you.
So long as he is intellectually mature.
He's intellectually and he's actually equipped, he's empowered in that area, particular area. This is where mentorship can be bottom up or up bottom.
Yes.
So the teacher must accept to learn in order to become proficient to deliver. To the learner must come to the school knowing that it's not business as usual. You are coming to school on day one. If, for example, we open school to learners, for this senior 5, they are going to report on 3rd March. Immediately, they are starting new curriculum as well in A level.
Okay.
This issue of, I want to spend 2 weeks, I am still going to look for school fees in Odramachako will never help you. By the time you are arriving on the school compound after 2 weeks, some learners have already advanced.
Yeah, they have gone actually much
more, and you will not recover from what you have lost. So time now becomes a serious resource for each and every learner. No absenteeism. There is nothing like procrastination, that I will do this coursework and submit later. Tomorrow will not be there. Because everything has to be assessed, it has to be put in system, and there's a period that UNEB wants this thing to be submitted. So if it finds you are not ready, and you're not likely to perform very well.
Wow.
So it is now performance-based result, isn't it?
Yeah.
You either you participate in it, you do it, you get the marks. You don't do it, you don't get the marks. So the child must be prepared. For the child to be prepared, from home, the parent must prepare this child psychologically, sociologically, physiologically, ready through medical checkups, provision of the requirements that makes the child, when you reach school, you settle. Get a point. There's no need I am yet going home, including payment of school fees. I know payment of school fees is a big challenge. I learned it from myself. I was in a very, very rural school, 26 miles from here.
Wow.
To a rural district border with Zombo, Anyavu. Sometimes they will send us twice in a week to go and get school fees. So this issue of children going home for school fees while other children are doing their projects and so on will not help us. So parents, I urge all of us to now have our financial literacy on our fingertips. Prepare in advance when you're sending this child to school. Know that this child is not going to come home and stay home, and we send him first to do our business to raise school fees. Let that happen only during holidays if it's possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we will still continue with that discussion about the parents and the students. But for now, let's first have a break and we bounce back shortly with that same discussion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
It's time to break free with Azam TV. Grab yourself a full kit at 80,000 shillings or an Azam decoder at 40,000 shillings. Experience the thrill of every goal in La Liga, Italian Serie A, German Bundesliga, and the excitement of live sports action from the Saudi Pro League and Carabao Cup on Azam Plus and Play Package in HD. Your favorite China Uganda movies on Chamuka TV on Azam Pure for just 13,000 shillings monthly. Unlock a world of sports and entertainment with Azam TV, the most affordable pay TV around. Visit any of our agents or call 0312 308 900 for more details.
Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Okay, you're welcome back from that short break, and we are still continuing to talk about this new curriculum that has been implemented, and we just got the first set of results and it was good. Most of the schools and many students ended up in result 1, which was actually good. And here with me is Mr. Drani Ronald Bilia, who is explaining what all these results, what the new curriculum and all that, what it brings. So we had actually broken off when we were talking about the parents, the students, and the teachers, how they can be able to handle this new curriculum. And our guest talked so much about the students avoiding absenteeism and procrastination, and also the parents being able to provide effectively for these students. So how can a parent balance between the work responsibility and the urge to provide for this student? Because these are students who need to learn. They're not mature people yet, but then this parent is hit with the urge to provide. We also don't want them to abandon their responsibility at home of taking care of this child as a father or a mother or a guardian. So how can they balance the two?
Well, I know most of our parents, the number of them who are educated and they understand that the demands of this new curriculum. I also know that a majority of our parents are those who do not go to school because of one reason or the other, but they really want to make sure that their children study.
Yeah.
And that they may not be able to understand the demand of this curriculum so much. So, but because we are now in this curriculum, we really want to improve our livelihood. It is only through education that you can actually place your child in a better position to survive. Right now we are in a city setting. A rural city has come as a regional city, and we used to depend on land.
Yeah.
Most of our parents used to say, okay, we have animals, even if you don't study, you get married, you go and dig, you go and do this and that. And you will still survive, which is good. That is agriculture. Now this new curriculum is preparing your child to go and make very good use of that land. But the challenge we now have is that our land is becoming very, very small every day. Because of the city setup, population is increasing, people are selling their land, a lot of investments are on, and this therefore means that as parents we should value education of our children. Now for us to balance between work and supporting our learners is a key thing. We now need to develop some kind of skills and also programming. If you're a working class like me, you have to leave your home every morning, you have to go to work. Even weekends become busier for us than weekdays. And yet, these children, they may be day scholars, for example, let's say a Republic. Republic is a day school, and there's a huge population of learners in that school. These children will come with a lot of activities from school. You know, you are given a project. For you to execute this project, some of them can be in form of homework. You are going to continue doing this at home. So how can you as a parent create some time amidst your busy schedule to also help this learner? Helping the learner may not need your professional skill. It requires you as a parent to create a conducive atmosphere for this child to be able to settle at home, to continue learning. We have been telling, especially during COVID, that a home should actually be a school. How do we now make our homes to become like continuity of a study center? One, you create a program that favors this child's, first of all, academic development at the same as holistic development. You know, you are a girl, I am a boy. When we reach home there, we're from school. Sometimes we want to go straight to see whether food is going to come on time. Animals in the field, I have to go. So now, making children to settle at home, creating conducive environment. If you have big homes where the rooms, creating study room for these children, where they can even have their projects undertaken uninterrupted, we will appreciate. But I also know that some of us come from a one-room home, whereby everyone is there. So in that case, now the child must program his time very, very well. If you are, you know that when you come home, you don't have enough time to concentrate maybe with the parent, make sure that you spend quality time with your teacher, okay, at school. Ask all the necessary questions so that you can understand. By the time you're coming home, you know that you don't have that kind of environment which can help you learn, or you don't have that kind of parent who is going to help you explain one or two things.
Wow.
So the teacher becomes your parent. In that case, your colleague becomes another guardian when you're studying. So parents must work because we need the school fees. We need these learners to be fed well. We need, in case they fall sick, to be treated. But also we create time now to come and observe. Even if you have nothing to tell them, just your presence alone will create a kind of order at home, that at this particular time, have program. This is we call assignment time, project time, it's prayer time, it is TV time, it is this. When you can plan this kind of program at home, if children can obey this, I want to show you everyone will come from school direct to executing what you have created.
Okay.
Quickly, then we'll revert to what can help him. To me, that's very, very important.
Liz, I understand that that's a strategy in helping the parent get involved in the student's learning.
Yes.
So this is in connection with the student themselves. But then in regard to this new curriculum, how can these parents really be fully involved in the students' learning, even in connection with the teachers and the students themselves?
First of all, parental involvement in a child's learning is one of the key ingredients. One, schools have programs where parents come. For example, today, St. Joseph's College and many other schools had parents visitation day.
Okay.
That's the time for the parent to come and interface with the teacher and the learner. They'll be able to say, okay, from the time your child came to school, we have spent this number of days, we have executed this kind of activities. The challenges we've been facing are A, B, C, D. Your child has strengthened this, but there is this which needed your additional input. But you as a parent, if you don't come around to listen to what this teacher is explaining, you will not know whether your child is either performing well or the child is doing badly.
That's true.
That's very, very seriously. The parents-learner-teacher engagement, either on Parents' Day or school days, is very, very important. Then two, even not on that particular day, parents initiating, okay, special programs to reach school. You can go to the head teacher's office. You say, okay, I am a very busy person. I just wanted to understand whether my child is coping with what is taking place here. The head teacher will call the class teacher. You come and sit with your child and you discuss. And the parent can also support this curriculum, as I talked about it earlier, by providing the necessary requirements ahead of time. For example, now the child is in senior 3. Here they've already chosen what they're doing. So you know that your child mine is doing technology and drawing. Okay. For the first time, this child came and asked me to buy stencil. What is stencil?
What is stencil?
Now, some of us, we don't understand these things.
Yeah.
So if you want to understand what this child is asking for, get very close to the teacher. Get close to school administration and attend the PTA meetings as well. In the PTA meetings, you know, they're going to say, okay, as this school A, we are facing A, B, C, D challenges. Because of these challenges, and we want to make sure that your children learn well, we are increasing a little bit of PTA fund to support this. So supporting the resolutions of the PTA to enhance teaching and learning is one of the key roles of a parent that is in supporting this curriculum. Wow. Otherwise, it will not be very good. But also, apart from creating a conducive learning atmosphere at home, You can even choose to you divide your compound. If a child is growing this, during COVID, I was doing my PhD. I was attending classes in Makerere, but I was staying with some friend. And can you imagine, during COVID, children were not going to school. One of the girls said for me, I want to do confectionery. This mother would go to work and comes and buys these resources for making these cookies and so on. The girl was making cookies and takes them to sell in the bank.
Wow.
That was supporting that particular competence in this learner. Then there was this younger one who was in P6. Who was very good at rearing chicken. And the father says, okay, there are these hens here, they're already laying. I want you to observe from the laying up to when it is hatching, up to feeding. And another one was very good at guitar. So when you see what your child is doing at home, you also design your own curriculum, which will help build this child, what this child wants to do best.
Yeah.
So that by the time the child is now coming to fit in the school system, the child is learning here, goes to practice it on your compound. Get a point?
Yeah. Gone are the days when parents used to dictate on the child
no,
what to do.
It is no longer dictation. You observe what the child is able to do, then you support accordingly.
Now, that is very important, supporting them on what they want to do. And we'll have to, as parents and teachers, will have to push these children in order to develop this growth mindset. So how can we encourage them to take responsibility and ownership of their learning?
Actually, the curriculum has already even done that.
Okay.
If you look at the description of the curriculum, first of all, 20% comes from you. Project is made by you as a learner.
Okay.
If you want to pass, it is you. If you want to fail, it is you. You know, that kind of assessment, self-assessment, I am making this project, I will earn marks for it, makes a child to own his or her own learning.
Okay.
Unlike in the previous curriculum whereby everyone goes there, you depend on the teacher, whether the teacher is not there, you can go and cram, you come and write, it's gone. So here the child takes responsibility of his or her personal learning.
Wow.
What are the things that I need in order to perform well here? The child will also take responsibility of the things already bought for him or acquired. Now I am going to do technology and drawing. My parents have bought for me in term 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tools. The child will learn to take care of those things because he will use them throughout. That's it. You get a point?
Yeah.
So that kind of taking responsibility for their learning and also not absenting is a responsibility. Punctuality becomes a virtue.
Wow.
Being punctual in class, not missing, submitting assignments on time, being there to discuss with your friends, collaborating, you know, that's now taking responsibility of your own learning. Peer assessment, self-assessment, getting feedback from the teacher on how can I improve this. It's now the child to consult. The teacher will now avail himself there, ready to support, but the child now has to do more of, so can you help me in this? How can I do this better? The other time I did this, and it's now personal responsibility to improve on our
The way I'm
learning.
seeing is that the curriculum is actually aimed at pushing a child's responsibility more of to themselves.
Yes, more to themselves than to the teacher. In this new curriculum, before the lower secondary curriculum came in, we were already looking at what psychologists were talking about. When curriculum designers, they look at psychological view, sociological view, there is reconstructionism. There are a lot of theories that people advance that let every child construct his own learning.
Okay.
You get a point? So that one places the learning in the hands of the learner. It is called learner-centered pedagogy.
Wow.
I'm sure you want us to take us there. But the curriculum is now a learner-centered pedagogy, an approach which actually places teaching and learning in the hands of the learner.
Okay.
The role of the teacher becomes that one of a facilitator.
Yeah, you just guide.
Facilitates, guides. And in that theory we say, the teacher becomes like a midwife. You know midwife, what they do?
They just help
They
to
just
deliver.
help the woman to deliver. Okay, which stage have you reached? Stage this, they monitor. And then when it reaches that, they just push. It's not the teacher who pushes this knowledge.
Yeah.
It is the child
The
who constructs this knowledge. It is the child who advances it. The teacher now helps the child construct. Now that makes the child to take responsibility
Wow.
of his personal learning.
So is this only for the secondary school, or it also includes the primary section?
I want to, so when we started, I told you the curriculum reform started with primary. The thematic curriculum, even the primary curriculum, is actually competence-based.
Okay.
Only that, many of our teachers grossly misinterpreted. They misinterpreted it into be teaching in a vernacular, when it actually means teaching according to themes. So it has a lot of competences. I've actually liked the way the primary teachers state their competences. For us who were secondary teachers, the university lecturers, we have been talking about objectives. But the primary curriculum, the syllabus talks about competences.
Okay.
There is subject competence, there is language competence. Everything is competence-based. You get the point? Okay, the child sounds, the child writes, the child pronounces, the child does. It is competence-based.
So that is their own section.
That's their own section.
And they don't have this practical kind of, you go into the field and all.
There are a lot. If you take us there are very many approaches
I would
that
like us
teachers
to break that
teachers
down
can
actually.
use to train. Not that the word train now, we have run out from it. You cannot train, you can only train animals, how to move, but you just help a child to learn.
Okay.
Okay? That's why we are not now teacher trainers, but we're teacher educators. So the primary curriculum is almost similar to the competence-based curriculum.
Okay.
The only difference comes when the teacher tries to use theoretical approach. You know, we are mostly knowledge. Our assessment from primary 3 areas. We measure that's what every question, by the way, if you ask the learner after you're done, it must address these 3 areas.
The 3 areas.
The head, heart, and the hands. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So this therefore means that our curriculum from ECD up to university is supposed to be competence-based. But because of either our teacher formation or even our attitude towards change, some people choose to teach learners. It becomes brick and mortar teaching. The teacher puts red pen here, blue pen here, green pen here, white pen here, and the long stick, as if the learner is just empty. And then this learner is pumped into knowledge by the teacher. So the teacher is looked at as an authority. But this learner-centered pedagogy makes the teacher to bring that knowledge to the learner's level and makes the learner to take ownership of his learning, as we had said earlier.
Okay.
The teacher just arranges, just here you set for us this room. Now you see people are watching us outside, but somebody must have done some work in advance in order to make sure that this show is very fantastic. So before the learner comes to school, how has the teacher set up the classroom? What kind of resources has the teacher put in place? What kind of material is developing which particular domain?
Okay.
So the teacher now has to assemble this, then brings the learner, and when he's making the lesson plan, what kind of activity is developing what competence in the learner. And that's from primary. In primary, lower, children are socializing, they're learning numeracy, they're learning arithmetic, they're learning literacy. So what are the things that can help them to learn to read, learn to write, learn to, simple counting. Those are the things that the classroom must be speaking. And if that happens, then we're doing competence-based curriculum.
Okay.
But if the teacher comes with a textbook and with a piece of chalk and they're standing in front there and they begin to dictate notes, that is a theoretical curriculum.
Now, with this, I'm trying to understand that it's actually good right from the primary to the secondary section. There is no much difficulty in the transition of a child, like.
Well, it is not much, but the difficulty is in the mindset change of the facilitator.
Wow.
For us teachers to accept that we are no longer teachers but facilitators of learning. If all the teachers can accept that paradigm shift,
Okay.
that it's no longer business as usual, that you are the owner of knowledge, but it is the learner who was born with some knowledge. Yours is to help this learner to grow this knowledge.
So with this curriculum, are the students being split into groups? Let's imagine it's the senior theory class. There are students who are doing technology. There are those who are doing agriculture. Are they all going to be taught together? All these people are going to have different classes?
There are courses, subjects which are offered compulsorily by all the learners. For example, mathematics.
Okay.
In all levels, it's compulsory. English is compulsory.
It's compulsory, yeah.
Which adults? These science subjects are compulsory.
And then for the rest, you get
then
to
for
choose
the rest,
what
they
you
are electives. The electives like Sierra E,
yeah,
electives
we'll call them
like
the optionals.
optionals. I think Sierra is one of the almost compulsory because the government put it there, but you can choose. So if it is those subjects which are offered by all the learners, they sit in the same
together,
classroom.
yeah.
Now when it comes to options or electives, now they go into the different, those who are doing performance art will go to do art and design. Those who are doing technology and drawing will go to workshop. Those who are doing entrepreneurship will go to, so there are now classrooms that are actually specifically designed in order to help these learners to develop those competences.
I guess that was actually also the same thing that we had in the old curriculum, because we also had these both optionals and the compulsories,
Yes.
and time comes when the optionals go for their
Exactly.
own and all that.
But the difference only is that time you'll find that the classrooms were there.
It was theory
It was
throughout.
theory throughout. But this time, those specialized classrooms are equipped.
Wow.
First of all, learners come with the tools. They leave them there. Then the school also procures. They are there. And you'll find that you just go into a room. It becomes like a showroom for carpentry.
Wow.
And you're going to find all the tools there, and you're working there. You're building your competence. And I've really loved it.
It's amazing.
It's
Yeah?
so amazing. So the primary curriculum must prepare the P7 candidate to fit into the lower secondary curriculum. So the challenge we have with the primary curriculum, as I said, is the teachers continue to teach textbook. They continue to use brick and mortar system.
Okay, there's still more of the traditional,
traditional way of delivering the content. But this last year's PLE result, if I can chip in there, came, and in fact, when the examiners went, they came back with a lot of complaints. The language of setting the paper was like that on all level of lower secondary curriculum, which therefore means that we are now preparing these children to fit into the lower secondary curriculum. Scenario based, get a point. So every question must have a scenario in SST, in English. It is not just this direct question. What is the name of? They say, assuming Sophie and Ronald were this. So from this scenario or problem, the child is posed with, then you come up with a solution. You critically think out of something, and that's the kind of curriculum now the primary schools must impress.
Okay.
Actually, the teachers, just to interpret the curriculum in line with what is going to happen in all level. That is it.
Wow. Thank you so much for that explanation. But let's first have a short break, and we are coming back to continue with the explanation of that, the primary curriculum. I will need you to talk to us about how the result of the primary curriculum is, whether it is the same as the secondary with result 1, result 2, or it is different. But first, let's have a break and we'll get back shortly.
Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
It's time to break free with Azam TV. Grab yourself a full kit at 80,000 shillings or an Azam decoder at 40,000 shillings. Experience the thrill of every goal in La Liga, Italian Serie A, German Bundesliga, and the excitement of live sports action from the Saudi Pro League and Carabao Cup on Azam Plus and Play Package in HD. Your favorite China Uganda movies on Chamuka TV on Azam Pure for just 13,000 shillings monthly. Unlock a world of sports and entertainment with Azam TV, the most affordable pay TV around. Visit any of our agents or call 0312 308 900 for more details.
Azam TV. Entertainment for everybody.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Okay, thank you so much for watching the Real Talk Show of West Nile TV, and you're most welcome back from that commercial break that we had. And we broke off when we were actually talking about the transition from the primary section to the new in the new curriculum to the secondary section, still in this new curriculum. Now the question I had asked is the primary section results also the same as this secondary section results?
Yeah, once again, viewers, you are most welcome back. The results of primary are yet quite different from the one for the secondary, okay, the lower secondary curriculum. We received a purely result from UNEB. It came as it has been coming. The only difference was in the language of setting. Many examiners came back telling us that the teachers prepared the learners in the traditional way, but the setting was quite different, which is almost similar to that one of lower secondary curriculum. So we still received our results in the divisions 1 up to X. Those who obtained distinction and so on were in division 1, division 2, credit D1, D2, remember?
Yeah.
Credit 3, credit 4, credit 5, credit 6, pass 7, pass 8. Of course, there is F9, which is actually you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoever got F9 throughout gets into division U. Then the child who did not sit but registered for the PLE is categorized under division X,
Okay.
which means that was absent. And so the result of PLE still remains the same. What has only changed a little is the setting. The item writing and the settings are quite different. Yes, I continue? Okay, so that is it. We have not yet noticed any further lessons.
Okay. Now, when these results came out, actually, there was no much difference because I was seeing this person still got aggregate 4, the other one got 15, the other one got 17, and so on. And I thought it was like there's really no much difference in this result rating compared to the old one. But then I want us to also talk about something different, which is corporal punishment. And I understand the use of sticks was actually put down. But then in some, let me say, rural schools and even sometimes here in town, people still use these sticks to scare the students and so on. And that was what we were actually used to in our primary schools when we were growing up. And then this was cropped up. So what is corporal punishment? And at what point is it termed as corporal punishment?
Well, corporal punishment is that punishment which actually causes injury to the learner. It can be psychological injury, it can be physical injury. It is that punishment which is even beyond what the offense the child has committed. For example, caning.
Okay.
Caning is termed as what?
Corporal
punishment. Pulling of ears. Because in the process, you can actually destroy that, or burning somebody, even giving children to split firewood. In our time, they'll cause you to go and uproot some stems of trees.
Yeah.
You go and slash, not a small place, but whereby you end up having a lot of, blisters.
Yeah.
Blisters in your hands. And sometimes they will make you to crawl on a rough road. You put your knees there. In some schools, people make you to see the sun, and sort of demeaning administration of discipline, all referred to as corporal punishment. And it was outlawed in Uganda. So when you say, you still find this
some teachers with the sticks and scaring students and all that.
I remember when I was still a teacher, I used to carry sticks. I was a teacher in charge of discipline. Cindy, I used to be the most feared.
I know.
And so times kept on changing, and the policies kept on coming that, you know what? You cannot instill discipline by force. Studies have indicated that if you want to create a positive impact in a child or a positive behavior change, you don't have to enforce it by inflicting pain. But you can have alternatives. I think it is from Osindi also we learned now that sticks are outdated. The more you cane a child, the more you give a child punishment, the more you send a child to go and dig, the more you give a child to go and slash, they will begin to say, okay, work is punishment. They will associate work with punishment. So the best we can do as schools is, can we talk to these learners? Can we engage other stakeholders in managing the discipline of the students, particularly the parent is number one. We have counselors in schools. We have religious leaders. We have disciplinary committees that can actually reprimand. Why are you behaving A, B, C, D? Actually, you as a class teacher, you are the disciplinary officer number one.
Okay.
Before a child exhibits some negative discipline, you should be able to detect the behavior of children and quickly, using the psychology and the sociology you learn, to mitigate that kind of behavior before it becomes something that is likely to cause disruption to the entire class. So when you have your class control well, when you know your learners by name, when you follow your learners closely, I want to assure you this thing called indiscipline will not arise. But where the children are left to themselves, you will find that these cases come. Now the teacher will say, okay, the only thing is it is the stick. So you come up with a very long stick in the morning, and then you stand on the compound. And everyone just sees you, everywhere. People start running away. But I think that is an abuse of human rights. Much as for us Africans, we used to believe that the ear of an African child is at the buttocks. This no longer works with our children. Our children are not resilient. Actually, I don't know what kind of material they are now created with. They are very soft. You just cane a child like this, the skin tears straight away.
Yeah.
You give somebody work to do little, the person is having blisters. You scare a person with a stick like this, you know we have a lot of ailments. The heart disease, hypertension. Somebody just collapses and dies, and they end up in prison. So I think the best disciplinary approach we are thinking in education system is called positive disciplining, whereby you talk to this learner, you try to understand where this child is coming from. Sometimes the behavior exhibited has some background from home. We go home and find out where our children are coming from, what challenges they're facing. For example, a learner is in primary, even in secondary, these day schools, a learner is persistently coming to school late. Instead of asking why this child is coming too late, you lie down. Go to class. Every day, you are caning this child. The child will get used to this caning, but the child is having a problem at home for which he or she cannot arrive school early. Most of our children here in the city center here, who are in government-aided primary schools, who are in these other schools, are children of other people who have come to stay with us. We make them to become like house boys and house girls. Before they come to school, they must first move the house. They prepare tea for your child who's going to St. Kizito, who's going to Shindi, who's going to this. Now, after 8 o'clock, the child is struggling to run to school. Reaching the school there, the teacher is waiting for this child with a stick. The child has no voice to explain. Get a point? So these are one of the great causes of dropouts in school system.
That's true.
We have failed to understand where this child is coming from. So we just think that it is 8 o'clock, everybody must be in class. So we're saying, can the teachers, by the way, in PTCs, teachers are taught child study. It's actually undertaken as what? Project. You go and observe this child, you write even a project about it. Then from there you will discover many more things. Maybe there's domestic violence at home, this child is molested, there is child labor, there is what? Now the child is coming to school, you're adding more salt on the injury. So are we helping these children when we're administering discipline? Then the problem with our schools, rules and regulations have been designed by the either board of governors or those people. They're just imposed on children. So when you have too many don'ts in your school, children will say, okay, we want to see how you want to implement the don't. We are now thinking, it will come in the next way, so we are thinking of having collaborative development of, we don't call them rules and regulations. In modern approach, we call them classroom agreements. How do you want us to run this school?
Okay, let's actually go direct there. Because with all these, we also want to see that there is no disruption in the class, and the relationship between the students and the teachers is also intact, but without giving this injury to the child. So what are those ways of promoting a positive classroom culture?
Thank you very much. A classroom culture. You know, every society has a culture. Africans, we have a culture.
Yeah.
Our culture of how we should talk when we're talking to an elderly person, how we should dress when we're in public.
Even in the classroom,
In the
literally,
classroom.
these no murmuring, you have to raise up your hand and all that.
How do we eat food? You know, in Africa, normally when you're eating food, they say you don't talk. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
And so, a classroom culture, which actually supports learning, is that positive environment. Remember in Osini, we used to call it the school ethos. That school ethos is where all the values, isn't it? The principles and the values of a school is contained. And this must run from the head teacher to the teachers, on the compound, on our dress code, how do we look like, our religious aspect, in the classroom, how do we relate with learners, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a classroom culture is that kind of conducive atmosphere the teacher and the learners create to enable everybody in the classroom to feel accepted. So I want to give you a brief example of a classroom in a republic. I don't know why today I'm talking.
So much about the Republic.
A republic is an inclusive school. In fact, all our schools are inclusive schools. You know, an inclusive school is a school whereby we have got different categories of learners. We have got refugees, either from South Sudan or Democratic Republic of Congo in our classroom. We have got Kakwa, we have got Lugbara, we have got Aluru, we have got, even among us, the Lugbara, different of them. We have got Indians, we have got, people are all different categories. Let's say the entire world is in your classroom.
Yeah.
Now, how can a teacher create a conducive classroom for these learners all to feel acceptable? One of the things that the teacher can do is to appreciate that there is no size that fits all. Level of learning abilities, isn't it? Different learning styles, different likes and dislikes, age bracket, matches with the same classroom, gender, we're male and female. Get a point?
Yeah.
Even background. Some people have socially, they come from rich families, others come from poor background. Some children are from single-headed families, others are total orphans.
And even others at home, they have that privilege to speak out,
Exactly.
and others don't.
Some are given permission or privilege to ask questions and they are responded to. In some homes, when you try to talk, they say, this is
Disrespect.
disrespect. So now that classroom has that category of learners who have come, they want to be helped, including these ones who are molested,
True.
sexually abused, those who are overworked, child labor, and they come to school when they have not even slept at night.
And even there are those who are abused physically.
Physically, they are caned, they are beaten. So they have sat in class. Somebody the first thing the child does in class is begins to doze. Then you come with a white duster, or you throw the child. So you have created a problem. So the classroom culture that is conducive is that where the teacher now understands that my class has all these categories of learners who need my support. And I am the only elderly person who is to help each and every child to learn, to exploit his potential, her potential. So now what must the teacher do? One of the things we are telling our teachers, right from primary up to tertiary, is a teacher must sit with these learners, agree. Remember I talked about classroom agreement.
Yeah.
You have a meeting, class meeting. If it is term 1, senior 1 are reporting. The first thing is to have a meeting with these learners. They are coming from different backgrounds. Others are from high, others are from low.
Yes.
You level the ground by saying, we are all senior 1A, for example. So in senior 1A, we want to be treated as children of God. Okay? We are all created equally in the image of God. In the image of God, God created us male and female with dignity. Get a point? Whether you have your plaited hair, mine is cut or not, it doesn't matter. Having said that, you will have left the ground for a child who did not have a voice
Yeah.
at home, even to raise their hand to say a word or two. Now what you must do is you come up with what you call classroom agreement. A laid out points. Let's be punctual. Okay? Let's be active in class. Picking somebody's property is this.
Okay.
Simple instructions depending on the age bracket. Age bracket, sorry.
Okay. Just talk. Okay.
So it therefore means that you must make the learners to generate what they feel like in order to have our classroom conducive, inclusive. After this, you agree, then you print it, you put on the wall. That is number one. Class meeting, you're leveling the ground. In the process, you're establishing what? Rapport. You're establishing rapport with the class. There the children will take you as their parent, as your parent, their parent. Now they're going to begin to love participating in the class. The instructions are all positive. It must not be don't, but you write it in a positive manner.
In a positive
so
way.
that the children will begin to love, celebrating success together, is our culture. You get a point?
Yeah. I see this is actually to encourage these all these category of the kids to fit in, because all of them are expected to grow at the same level.
At the same level. Because also we have children with special needs who are in this class.
True.
So having that ground set will make everyone now develop an efficacy, isn't it? That we are also people. I like using that quotation. We are also what?
People.
We are valued. Now the second thing the teacher does is, through the instruction, there is what we call differentiated instruction. Knowing your learners have different levels, different abilities, different backgrounds, the teacher will have to package his content, okay?
Yeah.
In order to fit that child, the teacher must learn the different learning styles of this class. The teacher must be able to address the issue of who is short, who is tall, who cannot hear, and you arrange your classroom. Your classroom arrangement speaks volume. Then the instruction is packaged, then you mix the abilities. Now the teacher uses different strategies of involving these learners. For example, if I am a bit slow in the mathematics, you put me with the Sophie, who's very good at mathematics, such that when I'm struggling with mathematics, here Sophie can help me.
Yeah.
Yet I'm very good at English and Sophie struggles with the English. So we support each other. Uses a lot of peer-to-peer learning strategies, group activities, projects whereby the learners can work in a group, they can collaborate, they're talking, the leadership is developed, appreciation is always the culture, and many more things. And I was in northern Uganda. I went to a number of primary schools in Gulu, Noya, Amuru, and Omoro as part of my study. I was going to speed schools. These are speed schools which are built using local materials on government school compounds. Classrooms don't have fantastic desks, but the number of learners are only 25. This is where children are accelerated. A child who has never gone to school is learning together with a child who dropped out of school. From term 1 to term 3, term 1 actually, they are learning from P1, P2, P3. Same.
Wow.
Okay? In 1 year, they are being accelerated. In 3 years, a child has completed P7.
Wow.
So what happened in that kind of setup is that the instructions were localized. The teaching learning materials are developed together with the learners. So whatever the learner has written is appreciated. And even they're given names. Every group desk has a name. Maybe cheetah, tiger, this. So when my group has presented and we have actually scored very well, everybody in the class there will dance for us. You get a point?
Yeah.
So the classroom where the learners' efforts are appreciated, where the learners getting constant feedback, which is supporting them, aiding them to learn, will make this child who has come to school knowing that he doesn't know much to feel that I think I can even learn.
Yeah.
Even if I make a mistake, my mistake is not reprimanded, but you say, okay, you can do better if you do A, B, C, D.
True.
So that kind of culture of appreciation, culture of respect for one another, culture of the teacher-learner relationship growing every now and then, you're supporting them, you're moving to, you know, it's all that we need. Whether you are teaching 200 learners in a classroom or you're having 25, the teacher has a variety of strategies to ensure that the classroom remains very, very good for everybody.
Wow, wow, it's amazing. Thank you so much for that exclusive explanation. But then with all this, I think those strategies, there's also the use of technology being implemented in this new curriculum. But we will talk about that after we have a short break. And I want us to talk about how this technology can help in the teaching and learning in this new curriculum. But first, let's get a break and then we get back shortly.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
It's time to break free with Azam TV. Grab yourself a full kit at 80,000 shillings or an Azam decoder at 40,000 shillings. Experience the thrill of every goal in La Liga, Italian Serie A, German Bundesliga, and the excitement of live sports action from the Saudi Pro League and Carabao Cup on Azam Plus and Play Package in HD. Your favorite China Uganda movies on Chamuka TV on Azam Pure for just 13,000 shillings monthly. Unlock a world of sports and entertainment with Azam TV, the most affordable Play TV around. Visit any of our agents or call 0312 308 900 for more details.
Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Once again, a beautiful evening to you, and thank you everyone who is watching this show from wherever you are watching from. We say hello, and this is the Real Talk Show that runs to you every Saturday from the hour of 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and we are talking about the new curriculum, and here with me is Mr. Drani Ronald, who is actually saying a lot in concern to this new curriculum. And we broke off when we were talking about, when I'd asked you a question about the use of technology in learning and teaching. So what are the ways that this technology can be used effectively? And another question is, does this curriculum actually allow students to go to school with their laptops and their phones and all that?
Yeah, thank you very much. When this curriculum was introduced, there were a lot of debates. At one moment, the schools were allowing learners to go. I remember learners even reported with the tablets.
Yes, with their phones, smartphones.
Actually, from COVID-19, remember, learning changed.
Yes.
From chalkboard to virtual. Learners started adopting, teachers even started creating content, and people were learning through radio stations, through phones. And now the new curriculum, since ICT is one of the key competences to be attained by Ugandans, they accepted this to start. But after a short while, I think the learners abused use of technology.
Okay.
A number of schools realized that the children were not making good use of the ICT equipment. Instead of using it for learning, there was a lot of social media. You know, we also had issues to do with the influence of the Western world. You know, there's a lot of content which is not actually friendly to our students.
And others are not relevant.
And others are not relevant.
Yeah.
And so schools that had even allowed children to go to school with these phones and tablets, I think they eventually
changed their
minds and they withdrew. But also our policy on integration of ICT in education system is still being worked on. It has not become official that children can go to school with their phones. But we keep on trying here and there. But I believe time is going to come that we will not do without this. Because this is 21st century.
Okay.
Our children no longer, I don't know whether you have a kid at home there who can still get a walkie-talkie and enjoy using it. A child of less than even a year wants to use a smartphone.
Yes.
They want to watch the cartoons. They want to do many things.
And they get the remote, they operate it, they know where to go.
Actually, they know how to use our smartphones much
better
more
sometimes.
than us parents. And so, there's in education, ICT plays a very, very, very big role, both for the teacher and for the learner. There's a lot of content created out there in YouTube, and so on and so forth. So these histories, the mathematics, the theories that we're teaching here, it's all out there. It's just a matter of asking Mr. Google, sir. And for that case, ICT becomes a very, very indispensable tool for teaching and learning in this new curriculum. Right from ECD, by the way, for us, we are actually advocating that we need to integrate ICT in early childhood, number one. Because if you go to many hospitals, in most of the pediatric wards,
sections,
you will find televisions, you will find the walls are nicely decorated with the pictures, because the brain development of the child, a lot of videos are watched there. So in our education system, we need ICT. So ICT enables very many things to be easy. You didn't ask me about the different methods that the teachers can use for empowering these learners.
Okay, you can go ahead.
But now I want to
that
bring,
first.
the ICT is a tool. When Ministry of Education, with the partnership with the Belgian government, took to teacher education reform. I was a teacher educator at that time at a National Teachers College in Muni. The government brought in the reform, curriculum reform, through what they call active teaching and learning. Through this active teaching and learning, the lecturers in the 5 National Teachers Colleges, the tutors in Abilonino Technical Institute, and the tutors in the Mulago Health Tutors College, all went through a 2-year refresher training in order to reorient the way the teacher educators must prepare the teachers who are going to prepare the learners. And this was in preparation for the new curriculum. Yes, we knew we were coming from a theoretical curriculum. We would go to our lecture rooms, we don't have any teaching learning aid. But now time came, the change had to start with the teacher educators. So they started with us. So that curriculum reform through active teaching and learning came with the new modern methods, which are learner-centered. We had 4 major methods which we went through, and after we were trained, these were piloted in secondary schools. Okay, a number of secondary schools like Monegals, Mvara Secondary, a number of them were integrated into this ATL approach. So one of the methods which now the teachers can use up now for this new curriculum, which for us went through, is known as project-based learning.
Okay.
You see, we told you that new curriculum is all about projects, scenarios. And these were the methods we were prepared to prepare the teachers to go and train. Project-based method is a method whereby the learners learn through projects. So you give a project, the project is executed in a group. It can be in individual, maybe project in geography, project in physics, even project in history. So a set of group of learners will be given a specific period to execute a project. Those in agriculture can be given a project to raise, grow tomatoes. From the time of seedling, bed, what do you call it? Nursery bed, up to the time of harvest. This student does this and writes a report.
Wow.
You get a point?
Yeah.
So it is in physics, maybe somebody is making light. Another one is inventing something else. I'm told the people who have in university, they're building technology of detecting veins. There are some women and the men who are fat and they cannot see their veins. When they fall sick like mine, you can easily get it. But there are those, they need something to detect. So that's a project-based method. Then we have problem-based learning.
Okay.
This is actually learning through scenarios, case studies. And through those different methods, children develop many things. Problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, analytical skills, and communication, leadership, and all that is now what competence-based curriculum requires.
Wow.
At least for us, we had the privilege to go through these methodologies. And this method goes with group work, it goes with simulation, it goes with presentation. What many schools used to call methods now became techniques of these methods.
Okay.
So the 4 methods we talk about is project-based learning, problem-based learning. We have learning station. Learning station is a type of strategy or methodology whereby the teacher divides the class into either 3 or 4 stations. Okay. Table 1, table 2, table 3, depending on the competences you want to achieve in a particular topic. Me as a history teacher, I used to teach the history of East Africa migration and settlements. So if I want to teach the history of, for example, Luo migration, question number 1 is, who are the Luo? This question is asking learners to trace the origins of the Luo. Why did they migrate from their cradle land, Barrier Gazelle, to East Africa? That's the reason for their migration. How did they migrate from Barrier Gazelle to East Africa? It is tracing the course of their migration. What were the effects of the Luo migration on the community of East Africa? This becomes what? The impact. So these 4 competences can be achieved within 1 hour using learning station. So what the teacher needs to do is, 1, you on every station, you pose that question. Who are the Luo? Table 1. Why did they migrate from Barrier Gazelle to East Africa? Table 2.
Okay.
How did they migrate from Barrier Gazelle to the last destination in Kenya, Nyanza province? Question 3. How did their migration affect the people of East Africa? Table 4. Now you have already divided the objectives or competence into 4.
Yeah.
So now, next thing you must do is, if you have, like, for example, 100 learners, you divide them into 4. Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. So group 1 starts from who were the Luo.
Yeah.
Group 2 start learning straight from why did they migrate from Barel Gazelle. Group 3 will start not from introduction, but how did they migrate. Group 4 starts learning from what were the effects of Luo migration. Then they rotate. After 10-15 minutes of learning either through video, through library, through picture interpretation on one station,
Then the
you
questions
shift to-
also exchange?
The questions don't exchange.
Okay.
The tables remain constant, but the groups move
Okay.
until the first group ends on table 4
Wow.
on the effects. The second group ends on table 1. The third group get a point.
Yeah, the
So
creativity
they
is
learn,
amazing.
They learn from every table why they migrated, how they migrated, what were the effects, what were the origins. Then at the end of the cycle, it is the groups moving, but questions remain stagnant.
Yeah.
You find the learners are, there is a chairperson, there is a secretary, they're working a team, they're asking questions. Another one is going to Mr. Google, another one is opening here. So there is collaborative learning
I
on
see.
every station. Then at the end of the day, they come and present their findings.
Wow.
How would you like that? Every learner will be involved in the movements, in discussions here, in the research here. Another one is writing, another one is going to present.
The creativity is actually amazing.
Where there is now ICT, now another secretary will now be typing the findings, preparing what? A presentation using PowerPoint. So when it comes now, you now debrief them. The rest of the learners will listen to group 1, present for us the question, who were the Luo? Then group 2, 3, and 4, you're going to add because you all learned about the origin of the Luo.
Yeah.
Group 2 will maybe come and act a drama because you just allow them to, how they want to package the content to the learners is. So that is a very good strategy whereby children develop a lot of creativity, innovation,
Wow.
collaboration, cooperation.
Okay.
see?
It is actually fun in
It's
itself.
fun. Learning becomes fun, but they learn and they don't forget. And that ownership of learning.
They don't forget
And the
because
assessment is done there and then. So the teacher's role is to guide the process of the movement, the discussion in the groups. Then in case now they're not coming up with the right content in the presentations, now you have to correct here. You get a point.
Yeah.
You appreciate there. Everyone is learning. That is called learning station. In primary, they use it most, it's called activity corner. If you go to most of the primary schools where the teachers are very serious, you'll find tree, which is having a lot of knowledge. Then you find another one is here like commercial, another one. So the classroom is full of learning. The teacher has flipped classroom with a lot of instructional materials, which actually aids what we call incidental learning.
wow.
You see?
Yeah.
So there are many methods and many techniques. Then the tools like ICT, that's now where we're coming to. ICT now helps this better because research.
Yeah.
You give a group activity about the effects of low migration, somebody will just Google low migration, causes,
And get
effects
points.
of their migration, YouTube. They get it there.
Wow.
Then they view, somebody summarizing. Summary skills are, you know. And so ICT does this. For the teacher, when you're creating content, table 1, table 2, table 3, 4, you don't just press papers. You can choose to pick your phone, smartphone, or even the other ordinary before the smartphones came. So, okay, good morning class. Today we're going to learn about Luo migrations. Who were the Luo? For 5 minutes, you teach yourself, you ask the question as if the learners in the class,
Okay.
you record, then you put it on table 1. You say, okay, you're going to learn about who were the Luo by listening to the audio or by watching video clip. This is a content created by teacher. We call it podcast.
Okay.
You see? So what you see people have uploaded on YouTube are teacher-created lessons. That is enabled by technology. Technology now can help us to make learners to go to the library, they research, they can make the submissions of this assessment online. You can give them feedback online. You can teach them, not in a classroom. For example, COVID taught us. Now, for me at UCU, we teach students using Moodle. system.
Yeah, sure.
Content is uploaded into Moodle. The teacher generates the link there. The learners log into there. You can teach students from
everything
Mukono,
is-
from
yeah.
Kabale campus, from Kampala campus. At the same time, it's possible with ICT. ICT makes you to download most of the resources that you can enable learners to go and learn. Actually, even your lesson plan, your scheme of work, instead of going to class with hard copies, you're now a modern teacher. Try. Okay, this is what soil,
Okay.
soil profile. So can you watch here? You take to one station here, you place another one there. It brings learning very close.
That's
At
true.
the same time, the children's interest is aroused.
Now with all this, it's actually very interesting and it's fun, as in, so there, with all this, there will still be time for this kid to go for extracurricular activity, right?
Yes, yes.
So
actually, as I told you,
how do you balance, because it feels like the teaching itself, it now feels like the child already exercises enough, and because you're moving, there's no dormancy, and you're doing practicals and all that.
in fact, what you're bringing up is now, Ministry of Education and Sports, with support from NRC, came up with what we call accelerated curriculum.
Okay.
So the accelerated curriculum is whereby children complete primary 7 in 3 years.
Wow.
In that kind of classroom, learners don't have specific time to go and play because the teaching is activity-based,
Yes.
it is music-based, it is drama-based. Everything is done in the classroom. They dance, a bird bong, lanyo. That is kind of appreciation. Your
Wow.
entertainment is in class, so it is accelerated. You find going out to play football is just now.
It
a
feels like
pleasure.
it's irrelevant
Yeah,
now.
because the classroom is just, it's like, what do you call it? An orchestra. Because you're not just coming to dictate, but children are participating, they are singing, they are doing
Yes,
this.
they're learning. It
Yes,
feels
they're
like the
learning, yes.
playground
The
also.
Playgrounds, yes. So play-based learning, music-based learning, activity-based learning, you know, a lot of it. So it makes learning fun. So ICT is very, very important. It gives us room to do what we call synchronous teaching and asynchronous, that both online and face-to-face. You can revert to traditional, you can go to online. Then you can flip your classroom.
Wow.
Where the schools can afford, you can have whiteboards, whereby if somebody just presses here, you type the things that you want come on, and
Okay.
children see. And so that is actually how we want our classroom to look like. And I know by God's grace we'll reach there.
That's true. With only 9 minutes to end this show, we're going to read our comments that people had written actually at the YouTube channel, and then also appreciate some of the people who are watching from here. Then after we read them, you're going to give us your final words. Now I'll start with Aikoyo Charles. Thank you so much for watching West Nile TV, because he said he is following intently. Then Auma Grace says, thanks for the program. I'm watching from Kampala. Thank you so much, Grace, for watching West Nile TV. Bako Karen says, thank you, presenter, for this program. It's a very good one for all. And Bako Karen also says, to me, parents should be encouraged to guide their children in carrying these practical skills training and how best to use the gadgets, especially phones, to avoid the other effects of them. Yeah, actually Karen is right, because parents should guide these children as well as the teachers also, if we really need these gadgets to be used effectively but not as a distraction at the schools. Then Angoyo Isaac is saying, I am watching live from Kampala. Otherwise, Mr. Drani, thanks for educating our West Nilers. Thank you so much, everyone who has watched, whether you're watching on StarTimes or Azam TV or even the Zuku satellite, or even here on the YouTube channel, and everyone who has not said a word but you have participated. There are also those who joined us and left in the middle. We still appreciated them, and there are those who joined us in the middle and up to now they're still with us. We appreciate you so much. Now let's come to our guest. Take your time. What are your final words?
Well, thank you very much. I want to appreciate Mr. Anguyo Isaac from Kampala, Karen, and many others who have made a comment. I want to assure you that where we have reached as a country,
Okay.
this is the way to go. we took very long to embrace this new curriculum. I, by the grace of God, participated in a drafting civic education manual for this country, for all sections of education in Uganda, which is yet to be piloted with the support from HSF and the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. This project made us to do benchmark in different countries. We went to Ghana to see how they were implementing civic education. Is it through education system? We learned that Ghana's civic education does not go through education system, but have got communities, including cultural institutions, and we found that they had very powerful institutions of political dispensation. And when we came to their Ministry of Education, their curriculum was very, very good. It was competence-based. When we went to Tanzania, we went to study the Tanzania curriculum. Their civic education goes through education system, from primary up to secondary. And so you'll find that the learners are well empowered, and in Kenya, they have come up with a policy of 1 laptop per child.
Wow.
Rwanda, which is our neighboring country, has embraced the issue of 1 laptop per child. I still bring that on over ICT. So I think for us to move forward with this new curriculum, our government needs to come up with that final policy on the ICT use in education system. Our schools must have the infrastructure that can help the ICT to be properly used, so that our children can now grow with their finger. Because digital literacy is all we need. You cannot survive as a teacher if you have no. Actually, there are 7 competences of a teacher. The 7th one is called ICT skills, and if you don't have it, you're not relevant in this current world. So I want to say that, Karen, the issue of other things that are detractors, if ICT is allowed in schools, is to build content. We can have tablets whereby the lower secondary, the primary, it is just content which is uploaded that the learners can access. Maybe they can only be given chance to research, there's some restrictions that can be made. Then we can actually restrict some of those social media which is misleading. Now we cannot say our children should not have these phones because it is the mode of the day. And so I want to thank you very, very much for listening to us. We are struggling to make sure that our education outcomes in West Nile becomes very, very good. West Nile TV, I am grateful that you have invited us to talk. Let this not be first and last. We are always available to talk to our people on the issues of policy, on issues of reforms when they come around. So it's just a call away that, Ronald, are you ready to come? We will always come. Otherwise, thank you very much for hosting us, and thank you very much, viewers. Let's continue to learn together because the world has become digital. Let's embrace this in all our city rooms. If our children can watch this kind of talk shows instead of Z World and those others, for me, I think we will change many things.
Thank you so much for accepting the invitation in the first place. All right, this has been the Real Talk Show at West Nile TV, coming to you every Saturday evening from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. here at West Nile TV. And today, we unpacked a lot of information about this new curriculum. And if you haven't watched, or if you have just joined us, you need to go back and watch the link. The link will always remain there for you. You can watch from the beginning up to the end, and we learn together because this new curriculum, with the release of the first set of the exams of the students, there was a lot of noise that rose, and we just felt like we needed to clear the air. There are actually other radio stations who have...
last announcement.
Okay.
Members, I want to tell you that according to the report I got from the other side, all learners who obtained from A to D qualify to do combinations in A-level.
Wow.
So please, if you see very many C's and D's, don't think that that child has failed.
Has failed, yeah?
And also, all our schools can now make our children pass. Let us love our schools, let us support our children, let us make sure that Uganda now achieves that lifelong learning for all our learners, so that we can become citizens who contribute than look for opportunities.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that last comment. Coming in from Mark Obetia, he's saying watching from St. Philip's Church of Uganda, Arua town. Thank you so much for joining, and we are actually at the verge of summarizing. Let's catch up the next time, and if there is need, we will be able to bring him here again to clear the rest of the doubts. That's if there is need. So thank you so much for watching, and have a very, very beautiful evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless.